Hold on, OTA.
Is this already recording?
Yes.
I'm making sure. Okay, and welcome to the Bird's Eye View. I'm your host, JB. These are my good friends, Craig and Rick. Hey, man, it's been a good journey starting this. We've officially made it to about 1 month of doing the Bird's Eye View, so hopefully... Episode 4. Hopefully many more episodes and years to come. Now, today, we want to talk about training camp. Obviously, we're getting right around June where, those post-June 1 moves get made, potential cap casualty moves, but also we have some potential battles to look at as far as while we're shaping up this defense. So, Quay, I want you to talk about, some of those position battles we're going to be looking at this summer, and also what's going to be your favorite battles to watch for the offseason.
Majority of them be on defense, so probably the nickel spot is a big one. Okay. So we have Billy Bowman, who we drafted. Clark Phillips will be competing there. We did resign D. Alford, so that'll be interesting. The safety spot, you got the veteran Jordan Fuller, and then you got Xavier Watts, so that'll be interesting. Then you also, I think, on the outside corner, you got Mike Hughes, and then I think the buzz around rookie minicamp that Cobee Bryant was a standout. So I'm excited about Cobee Bryant.
Loves Cobee. Hey, cousin, shout us out one day.
So that'll be a big one. And then also, I think the sleeper is the wide receiver. Let's say 4 battle, Nick Nash versus Casey Washington. I think that'll be a big one because they drafted Casey Washington last year, and he got in and got a concussion on this the first round. So I think that'll be a big one. But I think the one that I'm most excited about, if I had to call it now, would probably be the nickel spot.
Okay.
I think Billy Bowman is a stud. I think he's a great value running branch. Our personal favorite, Kenny Moore. I can see him in that mold.
No lasers.
So, that'll be the one I'm watching. And then if I had to, choose a second, probably that corner spot with Cobee Bryant, because I think he's a lot to lead the team.
I personally like, obviously, just Billy Bowman. My personal belief is, I feel like you just can't go wrong with a person on defense that has been in Brent Venables' scheme. They kind of just always kind of pop out and just end up doing their thing. Like Nick Benito last year for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something that he's doing. I don't know if it's like readiness or I don't say that. I don't know. but it's just like Billy Bowman. Like if you watch his tape, I'm pretty sure we've all watched his tape from when you see him at Oklahoma. It's just like dog. It's like you just want to see him just touch the field. Like what happened?
He's twitchy.
But then he's also like
short area quickness.
Yeah, he's the short area quickness. Like his reaction time to things is kind of what gets me, especially at like nickel and slot. Like you gotta be ready to either take somebody's head off or
you can see him on blitzes.
Like kind of like doing that that Tyrann thing when he like at LSU. Like you can put him down on the line and tell him to go. You can leave him in the slot and just tell him to sit. Or if it's just like if we're in man, I feel like he's like he can stay close to the hip of that wide receiver that's kind of tracking through the middle of the field.
I have a question for y'all. Do y'all think, and this is probably, do you think that Leonard Floyd versus Jalen Walker / Pierce, Arnold Advocaty versus Jalen Walker / Pierce, do y'all think that's about it?
I feel like, honestly, we're not really battling for who should be the starter when it comes to the edges. Personally, Leonard Floyd, which we've said in episodes before, is going to be 1A. There is no difference. I believe so.
Well, we roll out on whatever day against Tampa Bay, and they had that little starter screen at the bottom. You think so? Leonard Floyd, and who's opposite? Is it going to be AK?
Yeah. So I think if what we're doing is like 3-4, right? That's like the first thing.
That's the
base. 3-4, and that's the base. Then I think it's some arguments that could be had that you would want that you can start Leonard Floyd at the defensive end. You can kind of pick and choose if you want Rook at D tackle to play that nose, or if you want David, kind of just pick and choose whatever. And then on the other edge, you could have Rook or you could have Zach. I feel like that can kind of be the situation. But then also you can also have the possibility to have Leonard Floyd on the edge if you chose to, or you can have him inside, which opens up to Jalen Walker on the edge, James Pierce on the edge, or Arnold Ebiketie. But to answer the question about like, I don't feel like it's really necessarily like a battle per se, because I think like it's gonna be like people, like it's gonna be a guy that you have out there, like Jalen Walker and Leonard Floyd will probably be the people that start out there.
Snap count.
But yeah, I think it's gonna like they were saying majority of the time, James Pierce on third down, he's gonna be out there.
Yeah, James,
we gotta see him.
I feel like Jalen Walker is going to be more of the guy that's on third down because
that first step is undeniable.
Wait, James or
Jalen Walker. I can't remember which coach said it, whether it was Nate Ollie or Gilbert. I think Gilbert was recent about last week, and he said that Jalen's going to be first and second down. He's going to be mainly on the edge. It's third down where we're going to let his versatility show, and that's where he'll be anywhere on the field. Now,
but we don't know exactly like what that could mean, because he could still be playing that edge, and instead of him actually blitzing, he could go drop.
And you could also have a package where, say, he goes and James possibly drops, or James goes and Jalen drops. But we're not mentioning other people. Like, you know, I'm not saying this guy's going to be a primary factor, but Morgan Fox, Brandon Dorless, Braylon Trice. These are also guys that are going to get rotation within the defense. So to say, yeah, we have starters, I feel like everybody's going to get enough where, you know, some people might see 60% of the snaps. Some players are going to see 40% of the snaps. You might see people that are getting 20% because they're primarily on speed rush packages. Like, and that could be like your Ebiketie and, you know, maybe James Pierce Jr. But it's a lot of ways you can do it. Like the phrase goes, there's multiple ways to skin a cat. But
the thing is that like I feel like it's been a while since we could like.
I was literally just thinking like this is the first time I'm like
potential.
Like bro, like
might not be
whoever
enough.
Like think about pads and you're like, okay, I got Bud Dupree.
It might not be enough snaps to go around for the first time.
Exactly. And then it's I feel like also too a big problem that we had last year was it was kind of hard for us to keep guys fresh. Trice was hurt. Judon wasn't healthy or in shape. So exactly.
That was Jimmy Lake.
All that too, like, you know, it was so many different things wrong last year that I feel like is more preventative this year. Like we have way more pieces that we can put in, way more schemes that we can kind of finesse around.
That there, we have rushers based on a specific scheme. We have 3-4 rushers, we have 4-3 rushers, we have even the nickel package rushers.
Right.
Like just imagine we're on the goal line. We have to play that nickel because you're playing at Tampa Bay that pretty much comes out with 5 receivers. And then you have, for example, a Cobee Bryant on the outside that can do great in man cover, likes to mix it up in the run game. Billy Bowman in the nickel. There's Jesse, Xavier. Like, there's a lot of people, and we said they're all versatile, but the defense, the edges won't have to do as much, thankfully, because of how we built the team. And this is the first time that we can actually be happy when they built a team. It's years before where you said, there's a potential. It can work if XYZ goes right. But this shit, XYZ. This looks like, oh, this could work. Like,
this is the first time I'm like, oh, this. I wouldn't want to be the coach. He's gonna. They're gonna have to.
And if you guys remember when we were first talking like about like our predictions before like we actually got the schedule and stuff like that, I said week 6, we're gonna find out.
And we're gonna be off the bye.
That's after I bye. They're already gonna be 4 games fresh. And that first game after our bye is Bills.
I think that San Fran game is gonna be more of a test than the Bills game, though.
Bills game.
The Bills game is gonna like first off the bye. That Bills game is gonna be like
and Monday Night Football.
That's gonna be like a meter test.
That's the first time he's played in Atlanta, I believe, right?
Yeah, in Atlanta.
It is.
That's gonna be crazy, man.
I feel like it's gonna be a great offensive game for sure. But just think about. Like, the Bills are a good offense. I'm not discrediting them. They just have the MVP, arguably. But as far as San Fran, we know they're all about offense. And we know that they can make a weapon out of anything that they have. So it's not only that we're going into the game plan of, okay, is Christian McCaffrey going to be healthy? It doesn't matter what running back they have playing. He's going to perform. It doesn't matter what receiver they have playing. Can Brock Purdy get in the ball? And Brock Purdy, I don't know why he gets a lot of slack. He's a pretty good quarterback. He'll get better over time. It's going to be a lot for our defense to look at. And also, George Kittle is a nightmare in his own right. So they also might have Brandon Ayuk. There's a lot of pieces to have to prepare for as I'm making this analysis. So if the defense can do their jobs, you know, and we're probably going to be in a lot of nickel front that week, you know, that's the game where I see they're either going to get it or they're not, because there's so much to stop. How do you properly plan for it?
You know what's crazy though?
What?
It's probably the first time Terry could really sit back in his office and like, I gave you everything you needed.
Yeah, true.
Like, this is the first time
game all I had.
He really like is really on Rod now.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know,
Rod and Zach and
ultimately.
And what's it? But I feel like the same, just like how you said the 49ers. Like the 49ers, yeah, they had Shanahan, but they also brought Salah back from the Jets. We kind of have like almost that same recipe, just from like our offense is the basis to not Shanahan. So, but the defense is essentially like gonna be a reflector of this is what I learned. This is a piece of what I learned from the guy that we're about to play. But then also he was the D coordinator for Salah when he was
getting all his tricks.
Yeah. So for us when we go to practice, that practice is gonna be an easier practice. I'm not gonna say easy as far as like
What do you mean?
how do we stop
them?
them? But I mean,
What do you mean by that?
so like when we like are scouting, when we do
Talking about the week of that game?
yeah, the week of that game, like when our offense is like, you know, give us a look, you know, that like he knows what look that we're gonna give, especially because we spend our time in the off season scouting Michael Williams as well. So you know, we did our due diligence on kind of the people that can be stopped. I mean, obviously Fred Warner, he kind of just goes out there and does whatever, but yeah. He might not be healthy, you know, things like that.
Sunday night against Kevin McGarry, he'll be healthy.
Against Caleb,
they're gonna jersey swap. They're gonna jersey swap after the game.
He might not touch Kevin.
He'll be on Jace.
He's like, you know what, going straight down the middle. They're off limits. So
yeah,
what?
I feel like Oberth will give him a good look on those.
So what battle are you looking forward to?
Like as far as the whole season from
The training camp battle.
Training camp battle. Honestly, outside cornerback. You know, Mike Hughes. He did good last year. He did good in that crappy defense we had, and I feel like for some reason the fans aren't getting behind him. And you know,
he's just not sexy.
Yeah,
I get it.
It's not a.
I get it, but when you do your job, it's okay. Like you ain't all gotta be flashy.
Nah, I think you want your corner sexy. I want two sexy corners.
I mean, it's Atlanta, sure, but
this is the home of,
bro.
You know what I'm saying? The greatest corner ever. That's what I'm saying.
I get it, but at the same time, when your pass rush has been so lackluster for almost over 10 years, and the corners have to do so much, I need a corner that's gonna do his job.
But it's not even just like doing your job. I ain't gonna lie, Atlanta is spoiled in types of like thrill and flash. We've literally had two of the greatest entertainers that ever played football. We had Vic and Dion. So I think a part of playing for Atlanta is also playing for the city. And I just want guys to be like, bro, this is mine. Like, this is my, like, Grady gave us that.
Yeah.
Julio gave us that. Like, this is my city.
And
like, I want people to own, like, bro, I'm in Atlanta.
And
that's why a lot of people, that's why Kyle Pitts a lot of people out. Because Drake is a
Drake. Yeah.
Drake's, he be like, this is my shit.
Yeah.
And I like that.
you love players that embody Atlanta.
Yeah.
Especially Drake. Drake's probably my favorite player on the team now that Grady's gone. But as far as when you're looking for a flashy, sexy corner, that does bring in Cobee Bryant to the conversation. First off, he has the name of the legend.
He has the tape.
He has the tape to back it up. He's a team player.
Did y'all watch that? His pass drive?
Yes.
Bro, his pass, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I like Quay was talking about a sexy corner. I like corners. I like DBs that can talk.
Yeah.
We don't never. I feel like we don't never have.
Quiet.
I feel like AJ Terrell's the calmest
Nice
DB.
guy.
We haven't had a
nice guy.
We haven't had a trash talker. We have not had a trash talker. Alfred sometimes.
I was about to say like Robert Alford,
But he was holding too much.
Yeah,
so
True. So I feel like, you know, you get your flash in Cobee Bryant. Now, do I think he's gonna be started outright? Probably not. I think he's definitely get worked in. But the difference between Cobee and Mike is the fact that Cobee likes to get his hands dirty.
Yeah.
Cobee will play anyone on the field from the secondary position, whether he's nickel, outside. Sometimes he might even come to his position linebacker spot to give the situation. But the fact that he's not afraid to tackle, like he legit puts his shoulder into people, that's something we need. Because there were a lot of times last year where drives couldn't be over with because we simply couldn't tackle. So I definitely think by bringing Brick on this year and bringing a guy like Cobee as physical as he is,
he got a chip on his shoulder.
He got a chip on his shoulder.
He got a chip
and
on his
you know, Rob was.
I didn't expect him to go undrafted. To be
Yeah,
honest, I thought maybe like 5th, 6th.
Yeah, I knew it was day
so
3.
when he got undrafted, he was like, "You tell me 27. What he said?
26 corners are better.
26 corners are better than me." The schedule dropped last week. He reposted it. He said, "Say less." I like say less. Let's do it.
Cobee, you got me in my last. You got to say last night. So that's my
class. Like they've been posting like
when they all been like honestly like I don't think
they got some swag.
Like, I'm about to say because Cobee Bryant and Nick Nash. I don't think now Nick Nash is a little bit older, so I can see why he didn't get picked up as drafted as early or anything like that. But for him to display the talent that he did in college and not get drafted, for him to just be like, you know,
bro, we got a class.
Like that's a nice pick.
I mean,
like he could, like he could, if he performs, if Nick Nash performs to the potential that he could like get to, then Casey Washington might not. No, I'm not going there.
We gonna say
like Casey Washington might not, you know, will probably get dragged back, but then also, like we might not. Ray McLeod might not come back.
I'm gonna tell you why I like Nash generally, because I feel like outside of Drake, every receiver else is small in stature, and I think when Darnell Mooney didn't play the last game, I'm like, okay, is he gonna hold up a full 17 games? Because if you see Darnell Mooney, great player, but if you see him in real life, like at the end, like he's a little, he's not the biggest frame receiver, and I just think
the exposure kind of went down the line. Now, granted, our team's going down the line, but still.
But I think also, I just think there's going to be a real focus on Drake this year, like from defense, and you got to have like a bigger, like you know, hopefully, I'm not gonna say it, but hopefully, our bigger receivers are already, you know.
Or say his name.
Yeah, say his name.
Say his name.
I'm not gonna say that. I've been called a KPG, so
we go tap into the offense in a little bit, but as far as to these defensive battles, cornerback. I definitely want to talk about safety. You talked about the nickel, you know, as far as you love Billy Bowman. That safety position, you're a big fan of Xavier Watts.
I'm such a big
However, we have multiple people that can play alongside Jesse Bates. So where do you rank? Even Billy Bowman could mess around and be back there if it came down to it. So
I wouldn't put Billy Bowman back there just because, like, the short game is his game. Like, the long game is
for sure. I'm just saying, given situation, like, goal line.
Like, if he, like, okay, well, in that situation, it's a short field. So that would be, you know, but I feel like it's Xavier's to lose almost, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's been situations where, like, you can have a player and you kind of want that veteran leadership, so you'll give it to, like, a Jordan Fuller for, like, the first couple of games, and then he rolls in. But I feel like Xavier Watts, has played significant enough games in college, especially since he just came from a natty run.
A top 15, I feel personally, was a top 15 player in college based off of his skill set.
Right.
I'm not sure why he fell to the third.
But, like, I think that's just safety value. Like,
for sure.
But I just feel like there's no way that he can, like I said, I feel like it's his to lose. Like, so in that aspect, like, I think Jordan Fuller will probably start maybe a game or two or whatever the case is. Yeah, but like I really think Xavier Watts is gonna be that guy.
You know,
like, especially because on the opposite side of Jesse Bates, like you can kind of have anybody on the opposite.
I'll tell you why I don't think Jordan Fuller's gonna start. If you listen to the press conference after the draft, Rob made two comments. Well, he made a comment last week. Well, the rookie minicamp. He said, one, we're going to be real intentional about playing our rookies this year. And then if you go back to after the draft, Jeff Ulrich was like, when we were doing our cut up of like putting people in the bucket, he said I had a round 2 grade on him. So I didn't even put him in my 3rd round because I didn't think he would be there. And he said when he was there, and it's a video of him knocking on the door like, we gotta go get this guy. So I think just that alone, how bad, one, they had a end of first kind of, you know, early 2, late 2 grade on him. One, they didn't think he'd be a 3rd round. And then the fact that they mentioned that they'll be real intentional. But I know what you kind of that whole class last year being on ice, that kind of things. But that also is more in the trenches. That class last year was more in the trenches, more interior guys. So I think, as he said, quarterback and interior guys, it takes a lot for them to adjust. That's what Ross said last year. So I think they're going to be real attention about that.
I like Jordan Fuller. I mean, Jordan Fuller was somebody that we wanted last year in free agency.
And then he played with Rob.
So there's that familiarity. Yeah. It helps with getting, Ross scheming
nod,
But it's just, I don't see
I just think him going out there, like Watts going out there, man.
Xavier Watts is a dog, man.
But you know the thing about it though? This ain't Ross' system.
It's not.
This ain't Ross' system, so that don't really. I wholeheartedly believe this is Jeff Obert's. And you could just I don't want to call plays. That's why Jimmy Lake got fired. Because he felt like he had to help him too much. After
he don't want to.
He wants to be the CEO.
He doesn't want to have to feel like.
Rob gotta call plays.
But I'm saying that's why I don't think this is going to be the Rob Los Angeles Rams defense that everyone thinks.
No, Rob wants to game manage, and that's what Rob needs to do. Rob needs to call them timeouts instead of calling them plays. Amen. All right. Now, with that being said, man, we're very high on this rookie class. Honestly, we're very high on this team right now. With this class, though, especially with Jalen Walker leading it off, what's the ceiling for the team? Like, as far as the ring window, we got the offense young and the defense is young. It kind of, if you're going to get it, go get it now. Where do y'all see, if it were to happen, when would it?
Reality versus perception.
Fanality?
Yeah.
Sure, fanality.
Reality versus fanality? Fanality, like,
we're going
next year, like.
26?
Yeah.
I think.
But like
reality,
3 years.
Yeah, reality is not there yet.
Yeah, like I'll give him like 3 years. So like this season, the next season, and the following season could kind of be like that.
Let's learn how to win first.
Yeah, because I feel like
agreed
in that time frame, like the Bucks got Emeka Egbuka, but
that doesn't scare me.
But Mike Evans will be gone in 3 years. He's
either
going to be on another team or he's going to be out of the league. And then at that point, the Saints will probably still be building. Like,
it's not even that. I just think.
So I feel like that the division will just be like more of like, like transitioning out the old guys.
I'm not even like the division. It's more like the NFC. I think we have to get to a point where we're not for a trench play.
Yeah, but also like the Rams will be like they'll be going to like a new quarterback, whoever that may be. Like from Matthew Stafford to the next guy isn't like an easy task.
The Rams had Aaron Donald, so who's our Aaron Donald?
But I'm saying like the Rams got two first. They're getting a quarterback next year.
That's why that Sunday night game will be important.
That's why that first. See that Arch Manning, like, you know what I'm saying, or whoever. But I also think we're known for like, because if you look at the NFC, the best teams, we got Philly. Line is crazy. O-line is crazy. D-line is crazy. If you go to Detroit, O-line is crazy. D-line is
D-line not healthy.
Hold on now, because don't disrespect that D-line.
No, their D-line.
They were going down as the season went, and they were still producing every person.
But there wasn't like they're not Philly D-line.
I mean, they had 8
That's what I'm saying. They're not Philly D-line.
But then also like they losing your offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator in the same season.
That might be too much.
Usually it's one and another.
But your offensive coordinator was putting up 40
when you had to
burgers.
replace both of them,
40 burgers is really
there's looking at the way that offense was going, like they had Penei Sewell out there throwing passes. They probably not gonna have.
I don't think it's that. I think it's more like they've been.
But I'm saying like this, like the.
But you remember when Philly lost both their coordinators and
they still were winning. It just wasn't.
It wasn't as. It didn't look as good.
It wasn't sexy.
Yeah.
No, but they had to fire him and then bring in another side. Yeah. And they brought a guy that was from like.
Yeah, then they bring Fangio in.
Yeah, they brought 2 new coordinators.
But Detroit brought their OC from Denver.
Yeah.
So,
well, per DCMC, he says, we were already prepared for this moment. So, and then we've seen he can coach. Dan Campbell, Motor City. So he bite kneecaps hurt. But as far as teams, like you said, the Eagles are the best team in the league as of now. Then you have the Rams, the Lions,
Washington. I feel like the Lions. I feel like by that time the Lions will be in like a cat battle.
They paid all their guys that they need to pay so far.
But 3 years down the road, it's gonna be re-up again.
Hutchinson.
Yeah, they gotta pay Hutchinson.
Branch.
They have to pay Branch. They gotta pay
Arnold.
They pay Kirby Joseph.
Did they pay him?
I believe they paid Kirby.
But the cap's going up, so I don't really think that matters. It's more what is God going to like.
Y'all got his contract already.
No, I'm talking about like regress.
Yeah.
So I think the NFC is like it's so stylistically different. Because over here we run the ball. At the AFC they're more like a constant, and we build up.
But the NFC is becoming more balanced.
Yeah, the NFC is getting tough, bro.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But it was about our time, you know.
But also last year kind of flipped the void of like quarterback. Do you think Penix went NFC? Caleb went NFC. Jaden went NFC. Because remember, we were like the Asian quarterback conference.
Even before Bryce went NFC.
Yeah, we were the Asian quarterback, like the AFC.
It was just our time, yeah.
It was our, so now it's starting to like, our division has been through a lot with quarterback play over the last couple of years, but hopefully we got our guy. Fuck everyone else.
We got our guy, man. Y'all don't understand. I have not had this much faith in this team since like 2018. Like, and then we all know that season would have been way better had the injuries that happened. And it started from the jump. You lost Dion and County the same day. So, this team has a lot of promise, and honestly, it's because of the quarterback. That's why I feel this confident. Even if nothing else goes right, and like you said last week, Michael Penix makes everything go. So, I really hope that this can be the season. Not that I want any rings. If we get it, cool. But this is the season that we probably represent.
I read an article.
Make the city happy.
A little report that came out of Phoenix, and they're like, that whole building is like, he got one. Mm-hmm. He got one. They said
we're in the building.
They said the
it's the throws, bro.
They said that second throw against the Carolina game, everybody on the sideline.
No, to the sideline. Like two defenders.
They was like,
I ain't never seen a quarterback outside of maybe like Derek Carr back in like 2017 against the Chiefs. We threw like Michael Crabtree like 5 times. I've never seen a quarterback say F it and throw the same route twice.
Well, the live reaction at the game. Like we're sitting, and me and this guy, he was like, no. He's like, oh, and we looked at each other like, got one.
Yeah, that's what I was like. No, I ain't.
He got one.
What got him with me was the Kyle Pitts touchdown against Washington.
That was like.
Cause from years past, bro, that's a pick. Everybody, that's a pick. He gonna force it. It's gonna be. If he's young, he gotta figure it out. We're gonna give him time. But the fact that it was a dart and it was a dot, I was like, oh.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
The article said that they were like the way he like moved defense with his eyes that early, it was like next level. But then they want him to not like, he don't always gotta go for the kill shot. So I think this year they'll be like a little bit trying to ring him in with the check downs, but also like, bro, this is what you. I'm curious to see. Yeah, it's gonna be.
I feel like just in that sample size that we got at the very end of the season, because Kirk was limited. Like, Zach, show us your playbook. Like that's what really this year should be like, especially the first couple games. Like Zach, use that playbook.
But you know what's crazy? I thought he showed it.
At the very
his 3.
In his 3, yeah. But
I think he showed the most up against Carolina.
But like, what's the season of that playbook look like? Like, what is like? We saw how, like, mostly in like the passing game, like how Penix like puts touch on the ball, stuff like that. But throughout an entire season, how can the fluidity of the playbook affect everybody else? Like,
I think it's gonna be explosive.
I want to know how Penix managed. First, you kind of got a taste of it last year, but we're in a key moment. He don't fall under pressure, and that's the one thing he got ice in his veins. You saw that at Washington too. Mm-hmm. So I do want to know, like, this year as we do get more comfortable, when will he have the privilege to start making checks at the line of scrimmage? When does that come? And then how?
What's crazy?
What's up?
That's a great leadway into the next question about how important it is the preseason.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing. So do y'all think?
It can't be one drive when they start.
No. They're not.
I'm not playing starters, period.
Yeah.
No, they're not playing.
No, I'm saying like they might as well just not even go.
But
like,
do you think that's valuable or that's gonna start off slow?
Because Penix didn't even have first snaps like when he was on the team.
He never had first
they
team
were
reps.
like, hey, look, we're gonna give you the reins. He didn't even have first snaps. He did not do that. So I feel like it'll be more of like digest this playbook, learn this playbook, read this playbook. We'll get it all in practice. But as far as like off-season goes, it's just gonna, or I mean preseason goes, it's gonna be more of like defensive side more than just gonna be like offensive side. I don't think offensive way.
I think either they're gonna play.
I'm on this. I don't feel like our defense gonna play. Like let's
play last year.
No, when I mean defense, I mean like the battles, like Jordan Fuller and Watts might be out there.
Possibly.
Like, Cobee Bryant
I still think it's gonna come down to joint practices.
Yeah, I don't see I think it was like third stringers playing, bro. I really don't see him having a potential Braylon Trice 2.0.
Yeah, they're not.
I think that probably scared him so bad, he's probably not gonna play. The people that we expect to be impact players.
It was Helms, Rondale Moore, it was Braylon Trice. They all went down in like a span of 3 days.
Rondale Moore was a practice.
No, they all went down in practice. No, Helms
was in the game and Trice was down in the game.
No, Trice went down in practice.
No, Trice was the game.
He
was rushing and then he got caught up on his knee.
But that's actually like
shot into the back too.
I don't know. I still think that now I don't think that it's gonna be like an entire preseason. Like I think that like those will be like just one game.
Maybe the first. I'll say this: if they play, it's gonna be. I think our first preseason game's at home.
Yeah,
they'll play that first series. After that, out.
He's not playing. I don't see it.
As an if he's to play them, I don't think he's gonna play them.
You know what's gonna be funny though? You know what's gonna be funny?
No, I don't think like Walker or Pierce or anybody like that.
Walker's not touching that field.
You know the funniest part about preseason is gonna be?
What?
When Kirk running out that video, he gotta play. Kirk gotta play.
He ain't gonna play.
Kirk playing preseason.
Kirk's not playing.
Emory Jones is gonna be out there.
I bet.
Logan Woodstock
2 vitamin waters that Kirk play preseason.
2 vitamin waters?
You told me to prepare.
That's facts, but I'm off the bar.
I bet you a whole pack of vitamin water.
I had to change my diet. I'm off
I
the
bet you a whole
bar.
pack of vitamin water that Kirk won't touch.
What kind?
Yellow.
You're getting the variety packs.
The yellow to pink.
I take the pink.
But also, what I would like to see, I think one thing about Penn is he's like a shooter. Like, I feel like he needs like a couple free throws laid up. So like, I will say last year he started every game slow. Like he started like 2 for 9, 2 for 10.
Yeah, I was watching that Carolina game, man.
He started like 2 for 11. Like
second quarter, he lit up. First quarter was.
But I want to see how they ease him into it because I feel like he needs to get like catch a rhythm. Like, are they gonna start with simple check downs or like first play shotgun?
The way to keep your quarterback hot is to get your running game involved. Yeah. So this should be a really big Bijan Tyler balance. And I really hope Zach Robinson taps into that more. And Zach Robinson, for the love of God, when you see 2 linebackers split out, run a damn Texas route. That's it. That's all I ask. That's
you know the difference though, the only thing about the 1-2 thing is like Bijan gotta break something.
Yeah, he
gotta break
He
something.
do be little. He get 5 yards, but he be letting the first man.
My thing is
he gotta get like 25. Like
my thing is like I feel like the best part of our offense is going forward, not the wide game. But we use the wide game so much.
I just think he gotta break something. I don't care what it looks like.
Yeah.
But everyone always cares
like
the Gibbs break 20 yard. Like so Gibbs would have like 12 carries, 108 yards. Like bro, what you want?
But that's because
their line is crazy.
Yeah, like they're going to that second level like immediately.
Their line.
That's the thing. We don't see.
And then you're scared of so much. Like you.
I think our offensive line got a lot of potential to grow.
It does.
They got
the difference in Gibbs and Bijan is that
really like Bergeron is gonna be like
he has to take
him being on the side with Jake. He has to learn.
Him and Nuzul gotta take a lead.
Yeah, like Bergeron, he has to be like. I feel like last year Jake was holding his hand a little bit, which I mean, vet to a younger guy. That obviously
he's solid, but you gotta be like.
Yeah, I gotta know. I can depend on you.
I want
like
the best guard tandem in the league type.
Like when Chris Lindstrom just went out there, and I'm like, bro, he pancaked the first three snaps. Like I'm like, okay. Like, go ahead, do your thing, bro.
Lindstrom was a hoss.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like with Bijan and Gibbs, I think the difference in those two is you get to see Gibbs get at his full speed potential more. Bijan, while our line is good, I don't think he gets the amount of space. Because you see typically when he does get the ball, while he's getting 5 yards, he's bouncing off of people.
He led the league in missed tackles.
It's within 3 yards that he's getting the first time somebody's touching him. And I feel like
I'll never forget that shake against the Jags. He had Buddy.
That shake against the Packers was horrible. That first bird's eye view camera.
He's special.
Lens, yeah. He's a special kid. He's a special kid.
The behind the back.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I feel.
I'm sorry, finish.
if Zach Robinson can take that leap in year 2, everybody can take that leap in year 2 with the more. Now that we have more chemistry with each other, we can definitely go.
Do you like how they used Bijan last year, or you want to see how they use? You want to go back to what they used?
I was fine with how it was used last year. I just want how it was used.
Do you like how they used it the first year?
I liked him better last year than I did here.
Last year he was like strictly a running back. The first year they were like, they bring him all wide. Do you want to see him go back to like
I want to see
creative?
Yeah, because I feel like that's what we got him to do. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's why we picked him.
Obviously, yes, he can catch. Like Bijan realistically could be a running back that does catch 1,000 yards and run for 1,000 yards. If say you lost some key piece on the offense.
I'm not saying he has to be 1,000.
He doesn't have to be.
I'm just saying like
I think he was better last year, and I'll say for the simple fact, I think that first year he wore down. I think that might be like, and you can see like
that first year was like real.
Getting adjusted to speed.
Yeah, but like McCaffrey, like he would like it's a such thing as doing too much. Like really, I don't need you to catch 50 passes because I got Drake, Kyle, Darnell. So like just run the ball.
But,
so I think I liked it better last year.
We've seen the goats, have that workload. Like Marshall Faulk, for example, can run for 12, 1,300. But
yeah,
it was a different time.
I'm not saying that he has to have like an extreme workload because load management is a thing now. Obviously, it's not a thing.
And he doesn't have to do it all with Tyler Algier behind him.
Yeah, like some games cool. Like if he wants to just have like 15 rush attempts, 20 rush attempts, whatever, that's cool. But there's gonna be some games where that defensive front is gonna be like, all right, we have to give this athlete the ball in his hands and running's not gonna work. So in those game situations, I want to see the playbook get creative to his entire, his entire skill set.
Do you ever
be sometimes just, hey, it might be a handoff right here. We don't toss as much as we should, but a toss could just easily just put him into an open situation and he just run forward.
I agree. Do you see ever there being a situation where he would have like 30 touches? Like
30 touches what? In
like
total?
20,
he shouldn't.
Somehow like 22 carries, 7, 8 catches.
I think he's going to live in that 20 to 22.
We've seen something like Kamara's done it. We've seen like, is it possible? How dynamic
like
he is?
Like we just said in load management, those guys don't make it.
You know what's going to be so tough though, bro? When you got a gunslinger like that, sometimes it's just like, it's like playing Madden. Sometimes like, I should probably run the ball. Damn, I want to be in the shotgun right now.
I want 4 birds.
Yeah, it's just like, how are they going to like, because like the Carolina game was like the perfect balance. Because our defense could get a stop. But it was like, Bijan had like
180.
And Drake had like over 175. And Pennis had 300.
Yeah.
And I was like, sheesh.
Look, I got 180 yards rushing.
And it didn't even feel like it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was here and it didn't feel like it.
But then like but that game also was like, we used our outside. We were able to just tell guys just go downfield, and Penix was comfortable enough to just let the ball go. That a lot of stuff was open.
But you know what scares me though?
That time of this year, that's what scares me.
You know what scares me though? Penix had 300, and Mooney didn't play. Kyle Pitts probably had like 2 catches in the game. What point is it like, I got too many options?
What is the balance gonna? You know what? This is a good question for you. What do you see that balance is gonna be with this offense? Well, obviously Drake's one.
I feel like we're gonna answer this and just wrap it up.
Cool.
So, I feel like the balance, obviously, Drake being wide receiver 1, and as we saw in the Panthers games and everything, he's a big target for us. So there's nothing that's gonna say, that's gonna stop him from being that top option right there. So, and then afterwards, just because it's that year, like Kyle Pitts has to be 2. That's what I believe. Like Kyle Pitts has to be 2. And then
so how do you know my goat?
Then Darnell Mooney. I lied. Then Bijan, I'm sorry, because he's the guy.
So those the top 4 offensive camp battles are definitely gonna be something to watch. It's possible again with June 1st coming around, we'll see what cuts are made. That potentially opens up opportunity for more impact players to be on the team, but we don't know anything yet. Nothing's brewing in the rumor mill. So, with that being said, any final thoughts from you boys before we wrap up today?
I think, like you said about the cuts that are happening, I think it's gonna be some surprising cornerback cuts. I don't know. I'm not even gonna dig into that way, but I don't know. Like I feel like if Cobee Bryant just like proves himself, like
The name gets me
that I think Mike get cut.
Cool.
Mike Hughes. I feel like Mike might get cut. But Mike Ford definitely is gonna be out of there.
He's a special team.
He's a special team ace.
We can't have all those corners.
Somebody got to get cut.
Another one? For what? How many quarterbacks we gonna have?
You got to pay him a pat too, shoot.
Four.
Pat.
Mike Ford not getting cut.
We're doing one game.
Ford not getting cut, bro. Ford not getting cut.
All right. What up, boss man Quay? What about you? What are your final takes?
About what?
About, just in general, the season, what we talked about today?
That Kyle Pitts gonna have 2,000 yards.
Okay, shut the fuck
Christ.
up. Sorry. No, that's
160 catches, nothing crazy. Like,
Okay.
Like total career?
Hey, boy.
I'm just saying. Hey,
get your man.
It's show, right?
What's up?
You were here talking about
2,000 yards.
Y'all tripping, man. Once y'all get started disrespecting.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Bird's Eye View. We'll see y'all next week.